The views and opinions expressed by John and DJ do not reflect those of any intelligent or rational human being and are solely the property of the Brightside Chat.
This show is a proud member of the Nerdy Legion Podcast Network. Get more at nerdylegion.com. Enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome back to the Bright Side and issue number, what is it, 167?
I think so. That's what I was going to guess, so let's just say it is.
All right, 160, yes it is. We'll go with that. Oh, how we doing, John? How's your week going?
So far, so good.
Excited?
It's
Tuesday. Well, it's Wednesday now. You're short some books, but we got some books to talk about. We've got some shows. You're promising an extended Real World, which for you, that means a lot.
I didn't promise anything, but I've got a few.
I'm trying to hint. I'm trying to tease here.
I've got a few.
All right, cool. And we got some fun stuff to talk about in Real World and with books, too. So we got lots of news today. We got a bunch of items. Lots to get to. Why are we chatting out here? Let's get into the store.
All right.
And we're in the store.
We are.
Yes. And for those of you watching on YouTube, our 37 subscribers that watch us, all the hard work we put into it, that's a joke. Yeah. But you get to see my beautiful mug. Split lip, multiple cuts, contusions. Yeah.
Pretty gross, if I'm being honest.
Well, that's the only reason.
I mean, and there's cuts, too.
Exactly. I knew you were going with that joke. I knew you were going. I set you up, and you just reeled it right in. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because there's a funny story that goes along with it. So, I took
buckle up, kids.
Yeah, buckle up. Yeah, I call it funny. Maybe you won't. But so, I took a puck to the face last night playing hockey, and luckily no stitches are needed or anything like that. Split my lip, both upper and bottom lip, inside, outside, bruising. But anyways, when you split your lip, there's lots of blood. And the blood is like just pouring out. And the ref's like, I'm down on the ice. I got my hand in my mouth in my hand, and I'm checking my teeth. First thing, I want to check my teeth. Are they there? They're fine. All right. So now let me check. I'm starting to feel around my lip. And the ref comes over and he goes, "You all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's got his hand on my back. I'm kneeling, right? Looking down, just letting the blood flow out. And he goes, "Let me see." And I look up at him and he goes, "Oh, it's your nose. You busted your nose." No, I didn't bust my nose. It's not my nose, right? So then he goes, "Oh, let me see again." And I look back up again. He goes, "Oh, it's your teeth." He goes, "Your teeth are all
language
up."
Oh, jeez.
And I go, now, you have to imagine, I'm kneeling down. He's standing.
Right, you can't really
So
see.
He's looking down. If you look at the bottom of my teeth, which the camera on YouTube and stuff, that's usually what people see. My teeth are effed up on my body. I've never had braces, but I've got these teeth in the back. And I just looked at him and I was like, with the blood, I'm like, that's my normal teeth.
Right. I mean, more than normal?
He goes, "Oh, sorry." I was like, come on. I'm like, my top row of teeth is fine. So like, if you're just looking at me, I'm lucky I'm 6 feet tall. So most people are looking up at me or straight. So they don't really see that. But if you're taller and you're looking down, you see my bottom row of teeth. I look like a shark. I got multiple rows of teeth. And you got a guy with all this blood in his mouth. He's like, "Oh man, did that do a mess?" No, it didn't. Maybe it could have straightened him out. I don't know.
Right.
But it's like, it's not bad enough. I'm bleeding all over the place, and this guy's like insulting
your teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
Insulting your grill, DJ.
Yeah. So I got to thank my parents for that. No braces, and I wanted braces when I was younger. Really young and 10, 11, when all the kids our age were getting braces. Yeah. And then around 18, my mom's like, "We're going to take you for braces." Well, not now. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
I wanted them when it was cool, when everybody had them. Now everybody got them off and they're living large. And I'm like, hey, I'm not going to college like that.
I wore them and my teeth are still all effed up, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, Jen wore them for years, and they screwed hers up so bad that her jaw is out of line now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, braces
Well,
back in the 80s were.
Well, the thing is, I wore the
70s.
braces and my teeth were straight, but then they did no follow up. Like they did no follow up afterwards, so there was no retainers or no anything to like cement the process, I guess, and they all just crowded
Went
back in again. Yeah. So
well, maybe you should take up
that was
hockey.
a fun 2 years.
Take up hockey, knock a few out. That'll create some space for you.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I'm already missing. I've had like 8 teeth removed already. So
oh, really?
Yeah.
Knock on wood. I haven't had any removed. I haven't had any knock on wood knocked out.
I've had a bunch removed. I had one in the back that broke and fell out, and I just left it.
Yeah. So I'm playing injured tonight, John. Playing injured.
All right. All right.
So how's the store doing? We got the notification. All your Arkham Comics customers get these notifications. I saw you won't have books till Friday?
I won't have Diamond until Friday.
Wow.
I have DC. Yeah, I have Marvel and DC will all be there tomorrow. No surprise, honestly. Like, Midwest was shut down pretty much all last week. I was surprised we even had Random House come in on time. I was not expecting to have anything. Lunar, which is DC, has been sitting there for a week already, so I knew I was going to have that. But those come in super early. Like, I get those on Wednesday for the following week, usually.
Right.
But the other ones, I'm lucky I have more than I thought I would have. Because, like I said, Midwest got hit pretty hard with some storms, and we knew they were going to be late, but I wasn't expecting Friday, though. So,
right. Yeah, that is late. I was surprised to see that in the email. I'm like, Friday?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, they'll likely show up on Thursday, but I don't work Thursdays, so they'll be out Friday.
Right. Well, we'll see.
I mean, it's like 7 titles. Non-Marvel and DC these days is not a whole lot of anything.
Yeah, so. That's true. That's at least, where it was all in one bucket. You lost your Diamond, you lost your Wednesday.
Oh, I would have lost the whole week, really, because once Friday comes around, people just kind of wait until next week. They don't even bother coming, most of them.
Yeah, we haven't had an update. Let me ask, how's it going with Marvel? They switched their shipping, and there was some issues at the beginning. Packaging wasn't good. Remember?
Those issues the very first week.
Smooth?
There's, random 1s and 2s damage, one book damaged here, one there.
That's normal.
But for the most part, I did have I had a pretty rough week, like 3 weeks ago, though, where there was a significant bunch of damages. But, I had replacements in 4 or 5 days, and, all was good. But, stuff like that's going to happen. But for the most part, they've been really good. So, can't complain.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is you haven't said anything in a while, so no news is good news, I'm assuming. So that's cool.
Yeah. Like I said, it's been pretty good.
Cool. All right. Anything else before we get to some mailbag?
Nothing I can think of.
Streak continues, John.
Hey, we got at least one. So,
because you've seen it.
No, but if we're going mailbag, we've got at least one. I know that.
Yep, we've got quite a few. Let's see. I gotta get not quite a few. We've got our normal. We come around with 4 or 5.
Okay,
which is good. That's nice. Here we go. What do we got here? All right, let me get it nice and flat. There, get the wrinkles out of it. All right. So, first one comes from Carl on YouTube. More sports updates in full Dolby Vision and Atmos, please.
Yeah.
The only thing I can imagine is like people like this, like looking at my YouTube comments. Oh, what's this channel about? Oh, they talk comments. They talk comics and sports when they see that in Dolby Vision and Atmos for 37 followers. And then they see the timestamp on the video. It's 2 hours long.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So, at Geek Vine, tweeted at us, "Are you guys watching this? Just finished episode 1, and that twist at the end, did not see that one coming." And it's from In From the Cold on Netflix. It debuted on January 28th. And he said, I have not seen it. And
I have not seen it either. It is actually on my list to get to eventually. I saw the preview trailer for it.
Okay.
But I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I haven't either. I did add it to the list for Jen and I to watch. We haven't gotten to it since Martin, the AKA Martin, sent this out to us. But yeah, it looks. I've heard people talk about it because he put it out to us and a few other people, and I heard people commenting on it. Like, even just knowing there's a twist, it doesn't ruin it for you. They said, because sometimes that ruins it for people. Like, oh, now I'm going to be looking for it, and they're like, no, I don't think you're going to find it. So it's supposed to be really good. So it sounds interesting.
Cool.
Sounds good. And next up, we have from a different Martin, and I think you saw this one. This one was, so this is a thing now, and he's talking about Jurassic League, the comic, I think. The tweet.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Oh, you did. You replied to it. You retweeted it and liked it. He sent it to us and at Arkham Comics. So you did retweet it and like it, but it's a Jurassic League.
Retweeting anything. I've never retweeted anything in my life.
I thought you had liked it and retweeted.
Maybe I liked it because I like anything that we get tagged in.
But do you know what? I was waiting for you. I didn't know what it was. And Martin was, he's like, so this is a thing. It's Jurassic League. It looks like it's a comic, and they're superheroes. Batman is I don't know if it's a spoof or what, but they have a Joker as like a velociraptor, and Batman looks like some other kind of dinosaur dog type thing. And I don't know if it's a joke or what. So that's why I was asking. I'm like, oh, I'll wait and ask John. It'll be a good conversation. And so far, it's fallen flat.
It's because I don't know what it is, but I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, my fault.
I should first look at Jurassic League, a comic where all the League heroes are all freaking dinosaurs. DC Comics' upcoming miniseries about prehistoric Justice League. So yes, it is a thing. Yes, it is coming out. Daniel Warren Johnson and I guess a writer called Gideon. Yeah, it's coming. Wow. But I haven't seen it. This is the first time I've seen of it.
Yeah. So. No, the tweet that he sent had pictures with it, and I see the artwork. It's actually pretty cool, but it's like not necessary. Like,
yeah, I don't know who's asking for this, but
I don't. But you know what? I'm kind of intrigued. I will read it. I'll read the first one just to like.
I'll at least read the first one.
I'm picturing like the image I'm seeing right now is it looks like one of the Velociraptors as the Joker, right? And I'm like, I think it's the Joker. He's in purple. He's got a green type of chest, maybe. I guess.
Well, I was trying to figure out if it said when it was coming, but I don't actually see that. Just says upcoming. Issue 1 arrives in May. So. Okay.
But I'm wondering, like the Joker character, or I'm assuming it's the Joker. I'm wondering, does that character have like the lisps, like the talk like this, like you'd expect something like a lizard to talk like?
Well, let's see. Batman is an Allosaurus. Wonder Woman is a Triceratops. Superman is a Brachiosaurus, and the Joker is a Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus. Is that the one that spit on you? The one from Jurassic Park? The one that got Newman?
Oh, like the little flower head guy? I don't know. I don't know what he was. Yeah,
I'm great at sound effects.
I know. That was actually pretty good. I was a little creeped out there.
You've heard my home theater podcast, and all I do is like the sound on this side of the room goes.
Yeah.
Worse is when I start singing.
Well, our listeners have heard that once or twice.
Yeah, not good. Not good. So yeah, that looks pretty cool. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. That looks intriguing.
It's interesting. I don't know if it looks cool, but
I don't know if it looks cool, but I want to see what the story's like. Like, why are you doing this? If it's a decent story, maybe I'll follow along. But
yeah,
I don't know if it's necessary. Not that any of this is necessary.
Anthropomorphic dinosaurs. So, well,
great.
We'll see.
Great. All right, let's move along. So BJ Horton's back. I think he took a week off.
Yeah, I saw that text.
Yeah.
I did see that.
And he says, I wonder where BJ Horton is. What's Brad up to? Do you really want to taste it? Now I'm dancing to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there he goes. I mean, John, we actually got John to dance. Let me bring that back up.
Make a move extreme. Shortcut to your dream. A blow straight to the stars.
So, how do you not dance to this? Because the dancing in the opening is so bad that we can all do it.
Anybody can do it, right? I can actually do it.
It's like the Macarena, for God's sakes. Like, we can all do it, and the goal is do it badly.
Yeah.
So, I love it, and it's like I love this song. I think it's a really
me too. I had
song.
never heard it before until this show, but
right
because I
now,
think it is a song. Like it was a song somewhere, but.
And when I got BJ's text, and it's like he sent the link of that, like just a quick video of that, right? 6-second video, I think. And I clicked on it, and you get that little bit of music, and I'm like, I got to put this song in the show. I don't care if we get copyrighted or whatever, and then we're going to demonetize, man. There goes all our money.
Once again, I suffer for my craft.
Yes, exactly. We give. It's so good.
What's going on must come down.
What's going up must come down, John.
That's right. I'm looking for a little guy to boost up onto my shoulder, but I can't.
Yeah.
Can't find one around here.
Yeah. Where'd Eagly go?
Yeah.
We need him to fly in. Yeah, that's that opening. The first time I saw it, I was like, what the hell is this? But it just grows on you. So
Oh, it does.
It's insane. It's so good. It's so good. And like, are you noticing the differences at all?
No, not at all.
I feel like I am, but you like you said before, I think we'd have to go like
because it's a week now between
Right.
episodes, and they're not that different. That if they're differences, they're subtle, and they're not enough that I remember from week to week.
Yeah,
you know,
so good. I wish we could get that song for this show because then we could just dance every week.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. It's like. I think the name of this show is going to be issue number 67, Dance-a-thon. I mean, we both danced.
I mean, that's a first. Probably a last.
Oh, no, I'll try and play it again.
Yeah.
Wait till Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a cheery song. All right, that'll do it for Mailbag for this week. That was good.
Right.
That was good, though. That was really good. Oh, I forgot to put up the image of the mailbag. There it is. And there it goes. All right. We ready to get to some breaking news? Our Batman Arkham Comics news?
We are.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's try that again. I messed with the volume, and now... All right, are we ready to get to some breaking Arkham Comics news?
We are.
All right.
All right.
We've got quite a bit.
Up,
Let's go.
We do. Some of them are real quick, though. They won't require a lot.
No.
But first one, one is interesting. Dakota Johnson has been cast as Madam Web in a new solo movie for Sony. Now, we had heard Madam Web was in development. And even then, I wasn't quite sure why we needed a Madam Web movie. I still am not. And I'm kind of perplexed by this casting because for those that are familiar with Madam Web, she is older than Aunt May and one of the most static characters in the MCU. Like, she literally sits in a web and spits out prophecies about things that are happening, in the Spider-Verse. I don't know how that translates to a movie, and I imagine this is like her origin story, younger days kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, of all the female characters that we could lead a solo movie with in the Sony Spider-Verse, Madam Web doesn't spring to mind as the number one choice. You know, a Silk or a Spider-Woman or a Ghost Spider, somebody, along those lines would be great.
Well,
but
so you said, what does she do? She
basically sits in a web, like
yeah.
but she doesn't move. I don't want to see a movie of just like this lady sitting for 2 hours. You know what I mean?
What is she going? But here's the thing: you said that she talks about what's going on in the Spider-Verse.
She kind of sees like the
future.
And I'm not even 100% sure exactly what she does, but she has prophecy or sees like the future, like things that are happening in she reads the webs, and the webs are like they branch out through the multiverse, through the Spider-Verse, and like she was kind of instrumental in some of the the storylines that we've had with like the Inheritors, like the vampire hunter, like spider hunters or whatever. And she just kind of like tells people what's up, like, hey, punk rock Spider-Man, you got some vampires coming your way or whatever, But I don't imagine we're going to see all that other stuff in a movie. Like, it's just,
what if
I don't know how she became Madam Web, so maybe that's what we're going to get, like this origin story of her as like I said, as a younger character. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but it's.
What if they're using
weird.
her to tell some future stuff?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, she has premonitions and everything. Like they're using her as I could see making a movie about somebody that doesn't go anywhere and do anything, just sits in a chair and has premonitions, because you would have the movie would be the premonitions.
Well, right, but then the movie is about everybody else. Like, it's not really a Madam. Like, I expect Madam Web to be like a background character in somebody else's movie, you know, in maybe like let's call the movie the Spider-Verse or whatever, and then she's in the background given all these prophecies or premonitions or whatever. But like to just call it Madam Web. And,
I don't know.
Like you said, because we don't know what it is. We don't know what it's about. It could be something like that for all we know.
That's what I would guess, because the original idea doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it seems an odd choice based on, because once again, like this is a character that, like this is a deep cuts character. Like hardcore comic fans barely know who Madam Web is. So to like have the general movie going public interested in going to see this movie, it seems right. I mean, as is like Morbius, or like nobody knows who Morbius is. We don't even know how Morbius is going to do. Like, if Morbius is a huge success, maybe that paves the way for Madam Web. But if it doesn't do that great, like, is she going to do better? She's even less known than Morbius. So I don't know. Like, you feel like the powers that be have some clue about what they're doing, so you have to have some kind of faith in it, but just wouldn't be my first choice of characters or movie. So we'll see.
We will see.
We will see.
All
in all, though, Dakota Johnson's a great choice for it, I guess. So because again, we don't know what
she's character I don't even want.
Well, because she's great for a young Madam Web, I guess. Like, I don't want to see her aged up with a white-haired wig and dark sunglasses, because that doesn't make sense. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Up next.
Yeah, quick one, doesn't really need a lot of discussion. Not even really our genre, but I love the show. So Yellowstone has been renewed for season 5 by the Paramount Network.
Things.
Yeah, I know. Oh. No kidding.
All right.
All right, next up, AMC Networks has hired Anna Fishko. Not sure who she is, but she is going to develop an Orphan Black sequel series. Again, a show that I really liked, although I'm a little surprised to see it at AMC because this was a BBC series initially.
Okay.
So it's strange that it's being picked up by a different network. This is not a reboot of Orphan Black. This is a sequel series, but there's no word yet on whether any of the original cast, primarily Tatiana Maslany, whether she will return in any form for this show. I liked Orphan Black a lot, but honestly, the biggest draw to that show was her and like the 78 characters she played and, the way she handled playing all these multiple characters. So I'm not sure, if they're going to go back to that well and have one person trying to do that again, or if this is going to be something different. But again, this was a great show. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to seeing this one.
Cool. All right. Oh, this one here I'm excited for.
Yeah. Another quick.
When we get to it. No, go ahead. It's kind of obvious. I was just going to say another quick one, but looks like the Obi-Wan series is rumored to debut in May on Disney Plus. So on what day could that be, John?
I wonder. Let
me see what day that actually falls on, though, too. Because
I don't know what day of the week it is.
I'll tell you. It's actually. It's a Wednesday.
Is it a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Well, then I guarantee if not Obi-Wan, then something will debut on May the 4th.
Yeah. So it's, but
May that's a little 4th. Sooner than I thought we would get this series because I didn't think that was next up. Now, granted, there's some time between now and May that we may get like Andor snuck in there, but I really was under the impression that Andor would be the next show that we got.
Well, what are we getting after Mandalorian? Book of Boba Fett.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. There is some time between now, basically, because today is the finale of Book of Boba Fett. Between now and May,
I thought we had that
show
already
squeezed in. Yeah, 3 weeks ago. But
we'll get to more of that later.
Yeah, we will. But I don't know. I feel like though we would already know. Like if Andor was going to premiere, let's say 3 weeks from now or 4 weeks from now, we would already know that. So,
I think it might be, though, because I know, not to jump ahead because my pictures aren't ready for it, but we have that in the news that Andor was renewed.
Right.
But
right.
And they're like, ahead of premiere, not only did it get renewed ahead of premiere, it got renewed ahead of the date of the premiere. It's like, we don't even know when we're getting it, and we already know we're getting 2. So I would imagine that if they're already renewing it, they've already seen it. To be able to say,
well, right. That's why I'm saying I thought it was the most complete. Like I really thought this was the next one up.
And it might.
And again, this is just a rumor for Obi-Wan, so this could be wrong. It could be Andor on May the 4th.
John. That makes so much sense to have Obi-Wan, the biggest one, coming out. Honestly, when this was announced, this was bigger than Mandalorian. Because because we were all like, it's Obi-Wan, and we're getting Ewan McGregor, we're getting this, and like when we were excited for Mandalorian, but we didn't know what it was. We were excited for Boba Fett, and then we found out what it was. And
until it started.
Yeah. So, but I mean, for as far as Star Wars series goes, other than a Luke and Grogu series, this is the biggest thing yet.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Falling on, Star Wars Day. I mean, and that happens to fall on a Wednesday. That's crazy.
I know it's like the stars. It's like fate aligned.
Yeah.
So
exactly. I think Lucas arranged it that way on purpose. He has that kind of power.
He does.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
Like 7 years from now, you need to skip a leap year so that we can.
If you look at the video on YouTube with your beard and your hair, you just look
like Lucas, right?
Yeah. Look at it. You nailed that.
Yeah.
I don't know what he sounds like. He doesn't do a lot of interviews, but.
No, he has that Kermit the Frog voice, though.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. That's true. But everybody takes him seriously. You got to listen to him.
You do.
All right. That was a good one. What's up next? We have this.
Yeah, so this one here, is not so much news as I thought something interesting, and we could probably converse about this for a few minutes.
Yeah.
So a Tennessee pastor last week held a book burning for several franchises of books, including Harry Potter and Twilight, for witchcraft and satanic themes. And I'm just thinking, like, did we learn nothing from Footloose? Like, this is 2022, and we've got 2 weeks ago we didn't talk about this, like Pennsylvania banning mouse from their school system, which is
now see that's different.
Basically a book. Well, but again, It's not, because this is a book centered around the Holocaust. Like, this happened. It's not like
Mouse?
a controversial thing. Yeah, Mouse is basically a retelling of the Holocaust with animals. The mice are the Jewish. I think they're like, I don't know if they're I don't know who the Germans were. I don't remember if they were like raccoons or whatever they were, but this is just and the thing about that is one of the reasons cited for it to be banned was nudity. They're animals. They're animals. Like, animals are all like in fur. Like, all animals are naked all the time. So it's like it's just a crazy thing. So we go from that a few weeks ago, and now we've got this pastor in Tennessee holding book burnings for Harry Potter and Twilight. And
now I didn't get a chance to read any of the articles. Did it say anything?
Stuff.
Why?
Well, again, for the theme, like witchcraft and
right. But the reason I say why for this one is, and why I say that this is a little different than a school banning it. Okay, you might not agree with a school banning a particular book or whatever, and you say, all right, they should have it, they shouldn't have it. But a school and a school board can vote to not have that book as part of the curriculum and not have it in their school and have access to the kids. But that doesn't change like anything else outside of the school. It's just saying in this school, you won't have access to this book. Somebody doing a book burning at this day and age, like, is it just symbolic? Because you're not changing anything. The books still exist. The internet still exists. You can find all of this everywhere. But you see what I mean? How a school...
But that was always the case with any book burning.
Not when they first did them. Like, you burned all those books in the town. Nobody in that town had those books anymore.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it is today where you can, I'll just go to the store and get another one, or I'll go get this, or I'll get, it was a little different. And I think today, like a book burning today, that's why I'm saying it's like, did you shut off all the internet connections in the town too for people to get these books? Like that seems more symbolic. Whereas I might not agree with a school banning or, taking that book out of the classroom, but I understand what they're doing. I get the point of it. I just don't agree with it. Now a burning that seems more symbolic, and to me,
well, maybe, because it doesn't really say what his, it just says, Greg Locke, a pastor and conspiracy theorist, organized a book burning for his congregation in Tennessee. Attendees were encouraged to throw young adult titles such as Harry Potter and Twilight into a large bonfire on the basis that the books promoted devil worship and witchcraft. He says, we have a constitutional right and a biblical right to do what we're going to do tonight. We have a burn permit. Yeah, well, they do, but as far as like what he hoped to accomplish, it doesn't really. It just says we have a religious right to burn occultic materials that they deem a threat to their religious rights and freedom and belief system.
He does know that it's fiction, right? And
other
it's
items
not
to be
occultic
burned.
material. It's just a fictional stories.
Other items to be burned included Ouija boards and tarot cards. So like again, there's no specific like what he hoped to accomplish by doing it. It more it just seemed like a stunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and we just gave him about 5 minutes of attention for it.
We did, but really,
Right.
I wanted to make the Footloose joke, but other than that, I figured, that, again, it's something we could talk about.
Oh yeah, no, I get it, and it's a great conversation. I love the opportunity to say I think it's stupid.
Yeah,
because I think it's like, especially in this day and age, we're gonna have a book burning. Well, why?
right. Why?
What are you doing? You're not
First of
accomplishing
all,
anything.
unless you're burning Kindles, nobody even reads books.
That's
anymore.
what I'm saying.
So,
In
I
this
don't even
day and
know
age, it's like
how many physical books you're going to get your hands on.
I'm wondering if he realizes or not that, like, by you doing this, people go, "Oh yeah, Harry Potter. I haven't read that in a while," and they pick it up and read it.
Right.
It's like you end up bringing more attention to the thing you didn't want anybody to know about. Like anybody that's never read it, they're burning it. Must be good.
Well, and that's what, like, sales of Mouse across the country have like gone through the roof since the last 2 weeks. Like, there's one of the comic stores that is part of Comic Hub, and he's in California. He gave 100 copies to anybody in Pennsylvania that wanted a copy. They just had to write him, and he would send them a free copy, shipped, like I said, free of charge.
Yeah,
and like distributors immediately sold out of them. You can't get it anywhere. So it's just like, what did that do other than promote a whole new generation of people to pick up and read this book? Like, I saw there was a quote from Stephen King talking about like banning books, and not specifically to this book, but I guess an old quote that was brought up again. And his basic philosophy was like, he doesn't get upset about people banning books. He just, like, his philosophy is to tell anybody to basically run right out and read whatever book got banned,
right? Because
it's saying the things that you should be listening to,
right?
And so, like, it's saying the things that they don't want you to hear,
right?
And that's really all this does.
Whenever you point at something that you don't like and you shout it from the rooftops, all you're doing is you're pointing it and potentially exposing it to people that didn't know it existed in the first place.
Right.
Right. So even like take Joe Rogan, for instance, all the controversy over that, regardless of which side you fall on, when you come down and you start to point, the people that are against him, they've always been against him. And now you're just like, yeah, I'm on that camp too. And the people that like him, oh, they like him. But now it's big in the news, and it's only being exposed to people don't know who he is. And now they're picking it up going, now they're going to pick a side. But what's funny is, yeah, he's going to pick up some detractors, some people that never knew he existed and been like, wow, that guy is an idiot. Or he's going to pick up some people that never heard of him before. And they're like, hey, I got fans out of it. You know what that is? That's a win for Joe Rogan.
Right. Of course.
It's like, so the people that are the detractors are actually helping him.
Right. Well, yeah, like
so
you said,
funny.
anytime you shine a light on anything,
right,
you're only helping the thing.
I've said that about like flag burning. Like I saw one in the news years ago. It was the 4th of July, many, many years ago. And they said they sent out the police department. They sent all these people around to protect the flag burners because there was going to be a protest against having flags out in front of your house in this particular town. And I was like, that's the exact opposite of what we should do. We should not be sending police. We should not be sending anybody, and nobody should do anything. If you want to burn a flag, burn a flag. If you want to stand in the middle of the street and do it, knock yourself out. Hopefully you don't get hit. But we're not going to change our lives, and we're not giving you any attention. You're giving them everything they want. Big congregation of people around them yelling at them. That's exactly what they want. They want you to be upset. Don't get upset. Just walk on by. Let them burn it. The flag's eventually going to go out. And then they'll just be standing there going, huh, nobody really cared that I did that. All right, try something else next time maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Don't give them the attention they deserve. So,
yeah. I mean,
that's my theory.
Harry Potter and Twilight didn't need any help getting more people to read them. But still, again, just like Mouse, I would imagine sales of Harry Potter and Twilight books spiked a bit after this. And, I guess my thought on the whole thing, too, is like, as this pastor, looking at all the problems in the world, do you truly believe that they're caused by Harry Potter? Like, people reading Harry Potter and Twilight.
Wizards and sparkly vampires.
Yeah. It's like, come on.
That's the hill we're going to die on. That's
exactly.
I saved the world. Yeah, what'd you do? I burned some books.
Right.
About wizards.
I got one less kid to read Harry Potter.
I like that he thinks that they're like cults. It's like,
Right.
no, it's fiction. Nobody thinks they're a wizard. You
Right.
got bigger issues if you think you're a wizard and a sparkly vampire.
Exactly.
And it isn't the books.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
ban
crazy.
Superman. People are going to think they can fly, John.
Well, right. I mean, talk about like trying to like replace God or whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
Superman is the God figure. So
Exactly.
what? Right. Why are you not burning comic books? Although we did that in the 50s. So
Yep. Those fires don't last as long. They're too thin.
right.
They burn quick and they burn bright, John. That's the
They
point
do.
of a 5-cent
It's all,
comic.
it's all the red ink.
Yeah. All right. That was good, John. Nice conversation we got out of that one. Good call.
Yeah.
Good call. That
Figured,
was fun.
You know.
We talked about flag burning. We talked about all sorts of
Yeah,
things.
no, hey,
Eh.
you know, figured we get another 10 minutes on the show.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Last week ran a little short. We needed to boost up the numbers
to
this week.
punch it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one here, similar to Yellowstone, not really in our wheelhouse, but another show that I really enjoy.
Yes.
Euphoria has been renewed for a third season on HBO Max. I know you are not caught up on this, but
It's good. Yeah.
the last episode, like this past Sunday's episode, which is episode 5 of season 2, if you remember that when you get to it, oh my God, it was the most like brutal thing I've ever watched. Just about, it was so bad. It's just this show.
Now, is Lydia
really-
watching this with you yet?
No,
No.
just me.
Jen actually likes it.
She
she
started
loves it,
watching
actually.
it with me, and she just doesn't. She doesn't like it. It's
Right.
too much for her.
Too graphic,
real.
too
And like
real.
I said, this last one was brutal. Like just in the sense of, you know, the drug addiction and like the things that people will go to, the lengths that people will go to
Yeah.
for their fixes and for their addictions. And this past episode, like I said, it was really hard to watch. So, but I like it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I find myself very uncomfortable at times watching it, but I do still enjoy it. So we'll get another season of it coming on HBO Max.
Season 3 of uncomfortableness. I mean, of Euphoria.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. It is a very uncomfortable show. It's basically what's the movie that it's like? That it's an older movie. Oh, it's just
Well, there's lots of them. Basketball Diaries.
that
comes
one.
To mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basketball Diaries. There's what was the Requiem for a Dream? That's the one I was thinking
that's another
of.
one. Yeah.
That was the one I was thinking of. But yeah, Basketball Diaries and Requiem for a Dream. Those were movies that when you were done with them, you were like, that was fantastic. And I'm never seeing it again.
Right. I don't ever want to watch it
Right.
again.
But now they went and made a series. So it's
Right.
like, that was an awesome episode. Oh, there's more next week.
Yeah.
So
And
that,
again, this is a show that I might not ever revisit, but
No.
I enjoy it. Like I enjoy watching it once.
well, that's why
You know.
when Jen and I sit down to watch TV, we have a limited amount of time. And sometimes we're like, we literally like, no, I just don't have it in me to watch an episode of that right now. But it's a fantastic show and we are plugging our way through it. But you need to, you know, maybe if we have like an hour and a half, we'll do this and then do Mythic Quest afterwards
Something
to cleanse
funny
yourself.
afterwards, yeah. I think
know.
Zendaya gets another Emmy nod after this last episode,
Really?
though. Yeah, it
She's
was fantastic.
fantastic.
She was fantastic.
But I'm saying her as an actress or actor.
Well,
sorry,
she is. Yeah.
You take her body of work and it's just so good. Her range. I mean, she plays all these different characters. And you know what I thought was really cool is her in Dune was like, what did she didn't have any lines until like the last 2 minutes.
Well, she didn't do anything until
but she was
maybe
so
the next
good.
movie.
But that acting of her expressions and everything when she was in it, I thought was really good. It's like that you can't sell that short, the fact that she could just sit there and stare off and they're like, we're gonna and act the way she did in those scenes and like, we're gonna, tint your eyes blue, but we need you to have this feel. Okay. And she did it. And And then you see her in everything else and how she acts differently in all of these different, projects. And
Well,
it's very surprising.
I mean, for me, it's this show. Like,
Yeah.
she was fine in the Spider-Man. I'm just, like, other things I've seen her in, she's been fine. But this is the show that, like, I don't know, like, I really feel like she has the range, and she's actually a really great actress. And you hate her. Like, at this point cannot stand her in the show.
Really?
Like, she is the worst.
It goes in that direction. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But see, what's funny is
but that's a credit to her also.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what I was just going to say. It's like, if we only knew her from Spider-Man, the Spider-Man series, you would just think that that's who she was, because she's a young kid and she was acting like a young kid in that series, right? A quirky kid. Now, with her body of work, you have no idea what her real personality is like. Because everywhere you know what I mean? Like, Jack Black in a movie, that's just Jack Black. Right. And it's like all of these, there's a bunch of people like John Cena. That's just
and what's
John
his face?
Cena.
My favorite, Ryan Reynolds. Is Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, he does not have the range of her at all.
Right.
But it works. But hers, it's like, if you ran into her on the street, you wouldn't know you wouldn't have any expectation on how she's going to act to you. She might have a British accent for all I know. I don't know.
Right.
She's just that good that you can't nail down what her real personality is like, that's fantastic. That's how, Tom Hanks, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks pretty much acts, and I love Tom Hanks. He's a great actor. He has range. He's funny. He can play a drama. It's like Philadelphia, and then you see him in Bosom Buddies, for God's sakes, right? It's fantastic. But this is a different level, I think.
Yeah.
So, another good news item, John.
Yep.
You're
Really
nailing
good.
it this
Really
week,
good.
buddy.
Man, I'm trying to bring the heat.
Bringing it.
All
What's
right,
up next?
Next up, looks like Lucasfilm is developing a kid-focused High Republic series
I
for
thought we talked
Disney
about
Plus.
this before, didn't we?
No, I don't think
Maybe
so.
we did. All right.
Yeah.
I thought we did. But yes.
Far as what I can tell, this is a live action series. And again,
really?
focused in the High Republic era of Star Wars. So we are getting the show that we're getting, The Acolyte, which is coming later from Disney Plus, is also based in this era, High Republic. Now, it's not a kid-focused show, but we will have another show focused in that same time period. I think before this one comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But again, a lot of people aren't familiar with this part of the story unless you're reading the comics or the novels, because there's been no live action anything that has to do with the High Republic. But I've read the comics and the first two novels, and I'm not going to say it's stellar, but I do enjoy it. It's decent. So hopefully, they'll do something good with this show.
All right. Yeah. Don't we already have a High Republic animated series or something?
There is something that they're working on. Maybe that's what we talked about.
There's one that was already out
already.
Yeah.
No,
I watched it.
I
don't know if it's called High Republic though. I've watched it though, and it's let me look it up.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
There was something Star Wars. It's like I can't remember. It's the kid's a racer, and I can't remember.
Well, there's a couple of animated shows on Disney Plus that I haven't watched, but I didn't think any of them were in the High Republic.
Era. I can't remember what it's called. It's an animated series. I'll have to look it up later when I have time.
Okay.
There's an animated series that I've already watched. I started watching it, and the kid ends up on a platform in space or whatever, and he's a really good pilot, and there's a competition going on, but he's trying to do, and it was more based for kids. I thought it was High Republic, but I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But all right. And the last
but
one
not least,
we already spoke about. Yep.
Yeah, we already talked about it. Just that Andor has been renewed for season 2 on Disney Plus. Now, again, this hasn't been officially announced, but one of the actors from season 1 kind of let this slip this week in an interview. So it seems like it's, should be pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And then, again, ahead of the premiere date, we don't even know when season 1 is coming. But it's good to know that we're getting, that we're going to get another season of it. So
Yeah. It's like I'm looking. I just while you were talking, I pulled it up on. I just Googled it and I'm looking. I'm like, maybe they announced it while we were talking because it does seem weird that they're getting a season 2 and we haven't even gotten an announcement on when 1 is starting yet. So
yeah,
that
that's
to me
not
makes it
unusual, 'cause,
hopeful
like,
that
we know that.
yeah, but it's usually close to the start. That's all. It's not unusual, but usually it's close to the start of the season.
Yeah, but like we got season 2 and 3 renewals for like the Lord of the Rings series before we knew anything about when the premiere date was going to be. So I mean, it happens from time to time, but yeah, like you said, to your point, there's got to be early testing or early data out there that shows that this show is going to be a success.
Right.
So I don't know if like I said, if the focus groups are watching it or what's going on, but somebody has said, hey, this show is going to be worth another season. So
Yep. All right. That should do it for our breaking news. So what are we up to next? Let's get to checkout. You ready for that?
All right.
All right, John. What did we spend our money on this week?
All right. The first book up this week is from Image Comics. It's called New Masters. This was issue number 1 of 6. This is done by a team of the creative team. They're Nigerian brothers, Shobo and Shof. Shobo is the writer. Shof is the artist. According to the synopsis, this is a blend of science fiction, action, adventure, drama, and vibrant Afrofuturism. This is obviously... it takes place in West Africa. It's, Nigerian culture, as you would expect from the creative team. I did not get this book at all, honestly.
Me neither.
I really don't know what was going on. I didn't understand a lot of the language, and I don't know if I don't know if they were names, if they were like sayings, or I really didn't get this book at all. I was really confused as I was reading it, and got by the end of it, I didn't, because a lot of times you read some of these books and you're kind of confused for half of it or 3/4 of it,
and then it all wraps up together.
By the time you get to the end, it kind of comes together. And I kept waiting for that here, and it really didn't for me.
No,
and I just didn't enjoy it at all. I mean, it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't like monkey meat or whatever, like where it was like indistinguishable from like an actual comic book.
Right.
But it just, I like Dr. Joe said about that book actually a few weeks ago. It's for this book is for somebody, but it's just not for me. Like, I just don't understand. I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
So
I didn't mind the art. I thought it was interesting, but I didn't. The story, I don't know what the story's about. I don't know where it's going.
Either.
It didn't.
That's the thing. I don't know what it's about.
Like, to even look into it and think of it. Now I say look into it to try and interpret what they're saying. I couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't understand what's going on here. I'm like, what time period is this? And when? Yeah, it was very. I wasn't a fan. And honestly, as I'm reading it, I was like, oh, I'm wondering if John's going to do another switcheroo this week.
Well, again, this was another book that I could have easily put down halfway through. I found myself just really slogging to the end, like couldn't wait. And this was like 40 pages.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it just felt like it kept on going and going and going. And I was like, but it didn't, I wanted to give it at least the full read because, like you said, sometimes they kind of come together at the end, and I was like, well, maybe this will make sense and I'll actually like it by the time I get to the end, but it didn't really do that for me. So, so again, I'm sure it's for somebody, but I didn't get it.
Yep. Not a fan myself. So, all right, let's move on to this next one.
So next up was from AWA Studios, PRIMOS, issue number 1. This is a 4-issue miniseries. It was written by Al Madrigal and had art by Carlo Barberi and Brian Reber. I guess.
Yeah. Reber,
Um, Reber. Again, just to throw it right out there, another one that I didn't really love.
I actually like this one.
I didn't.
Part of it.
I understood it at least. Like I was able to follow it, and I knew what was going on. But you follow basically a group. There's it starts with like a group of superheroes.
Yeah, it's a kid and
a kid and like two others or three others, and they start like they're kind of in a battle or something, or they're talking about themselves. And then you kind of follow the brother home, where his origin story kind of starts to
he's
unravel,
the most powerful one, apparently.
Right. And
yeah.
he is apparently distantly related to like these Mayan shaman.
Yeah.
And then you kind of so he comes home basically, in this Mayan shaman, whatever, is just like standing in his kitchen and starts talking to him and telling him how he's it had like kind of a Shazam vibe in a way. It's like
I didn't think of that, but yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Like you're connected to to us and this pantheon of gods or whatever, and then they start telling like their story, and you backtrack like to several centuries earlier, where the Mayan brothers are basically going out into space to have like a meeting with like all these other Mayans from around the galaxy.
Yeah,
it was really kind of weird. Like,
see, I didn't. Well, okay, go ahead.
I don't know. Like, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't have any problem following or understanding this book.
Right.
But I thought it was just kind of jumpy, and it bounced around a bit, and it just didn't pull me in at the end of the day.
No.
I thought the art was great. Like,
yes.
Really, really good. But at the end of it, I just didn't care that much. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't pull me in. But what it feels like is, obviously we're going to bounce back to present day. Like there's a mission that they're going to have to complete, which we don't know exactly what it is yet. And this is how he got his powers. And, it's they're a group of Hispanic heroes, and, it was kind of very, just like, New Masters was very like Nigerian, African. This was very Hispanic. And, again, there was some dialogue and some sayings and things that were thrown out that I actually understood, because I've heard a bunch of them before, through my wife and, things like that. But, I don't know. Like I said, it didn't really do it for me.
So. What I liked about it was, like, I liked the opening, and it's the guy's name's the Kid. He's the Kid, and I they're alluding to the fact that I think he's the most powerful one. They also allude to the fact that they suddenly got superpowers, like all three of them, right? The other one, who is supposedly the leader, and that's outlined in like the first page or something. His name was Javier. Javier, yeah. And then Gina was the female who they even say in the story they likened her to a Gal Gadot, right? And they were she's kind of like that, but she's a badass, and she knows these two have been fighting for years. They know their martial arts. He doesn't know any. But anyways, my point is, at the beginning they really grabbed me. I loved this group. I want to see where that's going. But then the story went into this backstory type thing, where you go back in time, and apparently in that part, that person that you go back in time, he actually arrived here. Like, he traveled through time, and now he doesn't know where he is, and he's meeting him, and he has to meet him, and he goes, "This is the time. You're going to take the mantle," or whatever. Like you said, a la Shazam, which I like that reference.
Well, the reason why I thought Shazam was because, at least my interpretation of it was, he had the powers and shared them with those other two people.
Maybe you're right.
I think he's the one that gets, because he's the direct descendant from these Mayan brothers. And, and that whole thing was kind of funny, right? Because it was kind of like they were supposed to leave the Mayan space conference. And the brother that he's with is like, did you consult the charts? And he's like, charts? I don't need no stinking charts. I know how to get home. And then he ends up in 2022, you know?
Correct, right.
So, he didn't know how to get home at all. And,
exactly. And that was funny.
So
I like that.
It was funny. But
what I'm in for is I want to see what these three are up to. I want to see them fight. I want to know more about, Javier. I want to know more about Gina. I want to watch them fight. Whatever they're fighting, why they're fighting. All we know is
like I said, we don't really know.
We don't know. But I did think it was a decent story. You're right. It's a little convoluted right now, so that's not why we're like, I think we are going to go with, Dance Party or whatever for a title.
Right.
But
neither one of these were stellar, at least as far as
I was entertained by this one. Though PRIMOS I did enjoy that one a lot more than I enjoyed, obviously, New Masters. But so if we didn't have such a dance party, I'd probably recommend PRIMOS as a title. But we're going with Dance Party. I mean,
of the two, I would definitely choose. PRIMOS.
Yeah,
but
you gotta go with Dance Party. So, it's
yeah.
Man. So, all right. What else? What do we got coming up next week? Let's go to that
next
one
week.
first.
We have from our friends at Dynamite Studios, Draculina. Issue
I won't put
1.
this on the cover for YouTube because we might get shut off.
We might get shut off.
Yeah.
And then Secret X-Men #1.
All right.
For next week.
Nice. All right. Let me Secret X-Men #1. Well, now, anything on that yet? Do you know any stories about that one yet?
Not really sure what I don't really know what it's about. I mean, I thumbed through it a little bit today when I was checking it in, but I didn't, I didn't read it. So it's just it's a new X-Men team. I don't know what the setup is, so we'll see. Just again, kind of a lack of #1s hitting this week. So
all right.
Yeah.
All righty. Sounds good. All right. Let's get to our expanded real world this week that John is so excited. I'm excited to talk about.
We're not going to talk about any more comics?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. You're right. You are right. All right. What else did you read? Look at me. I'm so excited about real world.
I know.
With you.
I know you are, but I want to
hear before we even started recording.
I want to hear about Saga. So I'm going to go through a couple.
I'm not done with it yet. So
okay. But I'm sure you've read some more.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I love it. Do you want me to talk about that quick? I mean,
I guess,
I'm about
go ahead. I guess if you haven't finished it, then we can't really go too deep. So.
Right. I'm about 3/4 of the way in.
Okay.
It's fascinating. I mean, you've read it.
Oh yeah, I've read it now
obviously twice.
So, yeah.
And it's like, I don't know what else to say. I don't want to get into anything spoilery anyways.
Yeah, I don't either because you haven't caught up.
You know what I could say on not.
Well, I mean, honestly, dude, once you get to it, there's no spoilers. It's 3.5 years old at this point, so you can spoil whatever you want.
Well, no, I have never read it before. I'd never read it before, and I know people there's people listening that haven't read it before, but what I find very intriguing, it's not so much the book, it's me, in that these are all they are the weirdest characters.
Well, they are. It's a motley crew for sure.
No, but I mean, like, even just like the idea, the artist and the writer and everything that they're doing here. Like, I mean, we'll go spoiler. I mean, small spoiler. There's a set of characters in this that have TVs for heads.
Yeah, the robots.
Yeah, and you're just but they have regular bodies, right?
Right.
But what I find super intriguing is it doesn't take you out of the story. It puts you into the story. It makes it like this isn't my type of thing. I'm not a fantasy type guy. Right. I don't live in I don't prefer this type of medium or genre. And I'm still the story is so good about all this, and it's so adult too. I think that's the other part. It's very of fun.
Adult. But
because
I going back to the robots, I just love the concept that their thoughts and emotions are broadcast on their faces while they're talking. So like there's no poker face with these guys.
Kind of like wearing your heart on your sleeve, right?
Because they kind of can't control it. You know, it's like whatever randomly comes into their head is like showing on their faces. even though they're like trying to have a completely different conversation.
I hate to say it, John. I think
and
you
it's
and I
very
have that
inappropriate
problem.
at times, because some of the things that pop up on that view screen are not appropriate. So
Yeah, nice term, pop up.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, there's so
and
much.
This guy, my new mascot that I brought home. Now that you're reading it,
Oh yeah.
I love that character.
It's so a lying
Yeah.
cat. Like, is that what it's called too? Right,
Lying cat. Yeah,
lying
that's it.
cat. And it's like I love the little quips that they say, like when Lion Cat's not around, and somebody will say something like, "Do I need to call my cat?"
Right.
You're like,
right. In any conversation they have, they all look over at the cat to
right.
see.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
so
now, is there any talk of this getting a show or any kind of?
I mean, no. There's been a lot of hope from people that it would get one, but now that you're kind of into it, you could like the complexities of bringing this show.
That's why I think it would be a fascinating.
It would have
show.
to be animated though. Like it has to be like an Invincible, I think.
I don't. You could.
Some of the things you could do in I don't know. CGI can do a lot for sure, but I don't know. This would be tough. This would be a tough show to bring.
Tough show to bring live action just for the like sex scenes alone.
Well, well,
Like,
I mean, just throw it on HBO Max and you're good. But
no, I know that, but I'm saying, how do you
how do you
execute
even make that happen? Yeah,
right. Because there's some stuff that's going on that, in the context of the story, is fine. But if you were just to like walk through the living room and go, "What the hell are you watching?" You're
talking about the stock in the will, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
I don't know that I even want to see that on the screen.
Well, a lot of it gets it. They kind of they kind of got into a little bit of it in Solo with Lando and what's her name. Like, how do you guys hook up?
Yeah, the robots.
It's like, and he's like, we make it work.
Yeah.
Or she says that actually in Solo.
Right. She says we make it work.
Yeah, we make it work. But it's like, but in the story, in the context of the story, you're like, okay, yeah, let's go with it. It's good.
Yeah.
So good. Such a expansive story, but yet it seems very focused the entire time. Like, like when you flip the page and they might jump to something else, but you're like, oh yeah, I want to get back on this too. And then I want to.
It does, but yes, you do follow several characters through a lot of different arcs of story.
But you feel like there's a common goal at the end. Like there's it's going to come together in some way. But, almost like it all started in the same way and it's all going to come back together, but everybody's branching out in different directions. There's different story arcs.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, I got busy this week with different shows and just not being able to sit down as much. So I was hoping to have it done, but I read about half as much as I wanted to. So that's why I'm it's good. It's good. When's the second book what's it, 55? 54 just dropped, I think? Oh, 56.
5 just dropped. So 56 will be the newest one. Probably 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks.
It came out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, probably 2
weeks.
And
I mean, an individual book is a quick read.
They are pretty quick. And that's the problem now is like, now you got to wait. You're kind of on the monthly train where you just have to, you get 10 minutes. And
so it's 54 books that you got to read.
It's 54. Well, 55 is current.
That's
so
that'll get me current. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm on right now.
It's 108 total for the story. Like it's another 54 issues and then done. So
oh wow,
we've got a couple years, but there is a definite end. Yeah, there is a definite end for it. So
quite the saga.
It is.
See what I did there? Huh?
I do.
Look at that. I got to be the first person to do that, John.
I think nobody else has ever thought of that.
Nobody's.
No.
All right. What else did you read this week?
A couple of those, just real quick. Daredevil Woman Without Fear, issue 2. I'm really enjoying that
one. I didn't read that one this week yet.
Yeah,
I will.
So there's only 3 issues in this series. So obviously just one more after this. But I'm really digging that. I really like what they're doing in this book here with Elektra and Craven, your favorite character. So pretty good.
Yeah. That's yeah.
I mean, it ties in a little bit to the main Devil's Reign storyline, obviously, but it also kind of feels like its own thing.
Right.
It's just kind of taking place in the backdrop of that.
Right.
But that was interesting. And then Dark Knights of Steel #4, just, again, continues to be a fantastic read. So
Cool.
that is the only other one
I
that I
haven't read
really
that
kind
one.
of mentioned. Yeah. The only other one I wanted to bring up. So
All right.
that's kind of it.
I'm caught up on Newburn.
I read that too.
That's
Yep,
really
that was good.
It's
Yeah,
really good. That one I'm really enjoying. I like how that story. I found myself. Well, we'll talk more about it when we get to Real World. A little crossover with another show.
Okay.
Also, I read Gunslinger Spawn.
Oh, did you read that?
#4,
Yeah,
yes.
it was really good, wasn't it?
Really good because I love what it does for the King Spawn story. The what's the one, the crossover one?
Scorched, yeah.
Scorched, yeah. I don't know why I was thinking begin with an R. Scorched, yeah. What it's doing for that one, because I already liked the Scorched story, and now you add this into it. What's going on there? I think that's fantastic. I'm caught up on Spawn itself, and I think that's what else did I read? I still didn't get to Batman yet. 120.
Okay.
I
I read it. It's fine.
But
yeah,
yeah.
nothing.
So, but yeah, I'll be checking out that that other one that you just said. Oh,
the one that's actually been pretty good
Daredevil one.
That I really had no interest in reading at all. I was kind of down on it. Is the Weekly Detective Comics story?
Yeah, we haven't talked about that in a long time.
It's like 14 issues or so with like no Batman, and I was like, ahead of this coming out, I was kind of like, do we need 14 issues of Weekly Detective Comics with no Batman?
Right.
But the story so far has actually been pretty good.
Oh yeah.
The whole Arkham Tower storyline. I mean, again, it's got everybody else. So you've got Barberi, you've got Dick, you've got Batwoman, Huntress. Every other member of the Bat family is part of this story, and it's actually really good. Now, again, for me, because I'm reading books that I've already bought for the store, you know what I mean? Like, if I was really having to plop down $20 a month to read this story, I don't know that I'd be liking it quite as much.
Right.
But because again, having this weekly at like $4.99 is, I think, pretty predatory. But the story is actually pretty decent. Like it's been enjoyable. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Now can we get to checkout? I mean,
Real
World. To Real World. Sorry about that. All right, John. Let's get to Real World then. And what did you watch this week? How did you expand your horizons with your big screen this week? There we go.
Right.
Nobody's using that open.
They are not. So the first thing is we finished #TWITHATS, which is The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window. We finished that show.
Can I went upstairs after last week. You told me about the show. I was so excited to watch it because you told me all about it, and you said it was controversial or whatever. And I go upstairs. I said to Jen, I'm like, we got to watch this show. And she goes, ugh. She'd already watched the whole thing.
Oh, had she already seen it all?
It.
Really?
She didn't like it. Yeah, she's like,
wow.
She goes, I don't know if she hated it, but let's say she's like, I didn't think you'd like it. That's why I just kept going with it. And it's just like, it's weird. It doesn't she's like, she didn't like it. Like, yeah, she didn't like it. And she's like, if I thought for a second that you would have been interested, she's like, I would have stopped, and then watched it with you. And I'm like, well, to be fair, the only reason I'm interested is because, you were talking about it, John. So,
Well, we really liked it, honestly. Now, I will say, because we talked about this last week, that we had only watched the first 2 episodes, and you were saying some of the comments were, that it was like silly, and I will say it did slide downhill a bit as it went on. Like it did get silly,
and that's what Jen said. Yeah.
But but you're gonna take it for what it is. Like it was supposed to be silly. Like it's
Okay.
like Scary Movie or Airplane or whatever.
Okay.
Like you can't watch Airplane and then say, well, that was so silly that I couldn't enjoy it.
Right.
It was what it was. It's what it was trying to be.
Right. Like Dumb and Dumber. Well, that was dumb.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
Whether you like it or not is fine, but like it did what it was trying to do. It wasn't like it was trying to be serious and was stupid. It was trying to be stupid.
Did you ever see anything that was trying to be stupid and came off as serious?
No, but I've seen a lot of things that tried to be serious and came off as stupid.
Yeah.
I'm looking right at a couple of them right now, but
we tried to be intelligent and failed miserably.
We enjoyed it. Lydia and I both liked it. Like I said, we really like Kristen Bell. She was funny.
Yeah.
And like I said, you just got to take it for what it is. I read a lot of people that didn't like it, so Jen's definitely not alone. But we thought it was good. So
all right.
Anyways, we finished that. I watched, and actually, I just got caught up with this today, waiting for us to start. The Legend of Vox Machina, which is the animated show on Amazon Prime. So this has got a funny release schedule because it's a 24 episode season that's also split kind of like He-Man or whatever into 2 12 episode arcs, and they're dropping 3 a week. So you're only getting basically 4 weeks of this show, and then it'll come back whenever. But so you're getting 3 like 25-minute episodes a week, and it's exactly what I thought it was going to be and hoped it would be. It's just like the comic, but it's done in like that Invincible kind of adult style.
Right.
So there's a lot of blood, a lot of gore, a little bit of sex, cartoon boobs, all that good stuff.
Ooh.
But it's really funny. Like it's kind of like, I've never listened to the YouTube show. So this is kind of how I expected the characters to sound when I read the comic books. It's kind of like how you expect to see them if they came to life. So they've done a really good job of that. And, it is, like I said, it is the characters, the actors playing their own characters from like their D&D campaign. So they are obviously very familiar with the voices and how their characters should be. So I'm really liking it. I don't know if you'll love it or not. It really just depends if you like the comics at all. But it's worth a shot anyways. At least give it an episode or two. It's only going to
How long are the episodes? Like
25 minutes. 25 minutes. So it's not going to cost you a lot to see if you like it. But I really liked it. So there's, again, so far 6 episodes we watched. I watched them. Lydia didn't watch them. But I'm all caught up on that. I started, I finally caught up with the rest of the world, and I started Squid Game the other day. I've only watched 1 episode of it. It is as weird as you think it would be.
That's what I saw.
Seen it.
I'll tell you after.
I don't know. I'm a little into it. Like, I'm definitely going to keep watching.
I already know the end of it and what happened. I've only seen 1, right? And Joe had watched it. And this was during like the big hype of it, right?
Right.
And I was like, oh, I wonder what this is about. And Joe had watched the whole thing, and we were sitting in the living room, and it was scrolling past it, and I was like, what is this? He goes, yeah, I saw it. He goes, it's good. He goes, but I don't understand the hype around it. Like why everybody's so crazy for it, right? So I was like, all right, let me give it a shot. So I watched the first episode, and sitting there with him, I told him what the end was, and he went, yep. And I was like, he goes, how did you know? And I go, you watch enough TV, and I could pick out what was good, because I also knew that there was like kind of a twist, and I knew a little bit of what was going to go on, but I didn't know exactly. And then both him and my daughter told me, did you know about this? I go, I didn't know that exactly, but I said something like that would happen. I won't tell you what they are. But I was like, yeah, you're right. I didn't watch another minute after that, because I was like, all right, I've figured it out, and I don't get the hype. So I didn't give it any more, but
yeah, well, like I said, I enjoyed it. I also don't get the hype of it, but I've only watched one. So,
Yeah.
Again, this is kind of, it's my by myself show because I don't think Lydia would like it. So when she's working late tomorrow, I'll watch.
Oh yeah, I didn't think Jen would like it either. It's too graphic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's supposed to be good. And I think a lot of
I've
people,
heard it's good. So
I think the graphic nature, the graphic violence and everything, the gore, I think is what really shocks a lot of people, where I was just like, oh, okay, we've seen that before.
Well, yeah, nothing in it shocked me because I was like, I've seen a lot of stuff. So gore doesn't bother me at all. But yeah, so I watched that, and then we watched the first 2 episodes of Raised by Wolves season 2.
How's that?
Last week. So far so good. Like, it kind of picks up where season 1 left off. So if you liked season 1, it's just so far more of the same.
Season 1.
It's taking a little bit of a twist because, if you've watched season 1, you know that she can't go into her robot form, and she can't take the form of the Destructor and kill everybody. So now she has to try to figure out how to kind of defend everybody without being able to do that kind of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it's just setting up another adventure. They're all something's gonna happen. They're gonna get in trouble, and she's gonna have to figure it out. But I don't know. Like I said, so far so good. I liked season 1. I didn't love it, but it was, I think, the first original show on HBO Max when that first launched, and we watched it, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what else to say about it. It was decent.
Cool.
Watched Reacher.
Yes.
Watched all of that.
You've seen all of it?
I saw all of it.
I am pacing myself. I am loving that show.
Yeah, it dropped a little early, so we were watching the first episode on Thursday.
Right. Yeah.
And then we took the week. Lydia took Saturday off, so I took the day off with her. So we kind of had a whole weekend of just binging.
Jen's mom texted her and said, "You got to watch Reacher." And they give us recommendations for shows all the time, my mother and father-in-law. And we have similar tastes, obviously. And she's like, "You got to watch it." And it's in the text. She says to Jen, "Real eye candy for you."
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I think she's good looking, the female lead.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No, what's it? Alan? What's it?
Alan Richson? Richson, I think Richson. Who seems quite a bit bigger than he did in Titans, honestly.
Well, you know what's interesting, and this is what I said when my mother-in-law texted that, I'm like, "Give me your phone." And I texted her back. I go, for accuracy, and I gave her the numbers. I said, in real life, Alan, the character Alan Richson playing Reacher, he's only 6'2", only.
Yeah.
Right?
Only.
But the character of Reacher is supposed to be 6'5".
Yeah.
Okay? So what they did is they cast him at 6'2", and then they cast everybody around so that he would appear at 6'5". Plus, one of the things that I really like about this, look at the way they shoot him. It's always like, not always, but they're always making him look big. They'll either shoot him from really low, so you get that perspective of looking up at him, or when they shoot him from above and looking down, you're looking down at a shorter character, giving him that imposing look. I mean, he's just a monster.
He is a big dude. What I will say is, I thought the first episode was a little corny, and I was like,
I loved it, yeah.
But it really settles in. Like, it's great. It's a great show. I thought some of his fights were a little repetitive because, like, every fight he gets into is kind of the same. It's like a couple of elbow throws and, a punch, and that's it. And it's like it's the only choreography he knows. Yeah. But yeah, really, really good. Definitely. I looked it up after the fact because I've never read any of the books. There's 26 novels featuring Jack Reacher, so this can go lots of seasons if they wanted to. And it looks like season 1 basically adapted book 1 of the series. So if they kind of follow that, kind of like they do with James Bond, 1 book per movie or series, they could go a long time with this. And obviously it sets up for season 2. So I hope we get several more of these
Yeah.
because it was really fun and
See,
really enjoyable.
I loved both movies with Tom Cruise.
I didn't see either one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see.
So
either one.
Tom Cruise plays the character in a different
Right.
way because he's smaller, and they go with more of the everyman character, like everyman, like unimposing, but has, he can defend himself just
Right.
like
still
this.
has the skills.
Still has all the skills. And there's some scenes in the movie that people underestimate him, and it makes for an entertaining movie, right?
Right.
But you still have all of the knowledge that they're portraying here, where he analyzes the situation. I'm finding that is getting a little repetitive too. Like he'll walk in a room and talk with somebody that he's been with the entire time, whether it's what's her name there, Roscoe, or the lead detective from Boston there that he talks to.
Yeah.
Either way, he'll walk in and he'll be like, I noticed that this, and this. And I'm like, okay, you don't need to explain to them every single time. But I still enjoy it. I love the breakdown. Like later on, I'm to the point where he sees a new character. He's a cop, and he goes, what branch of the military? And he tells him how he tied his shoes. That's super interesting. I love
it. Was
type
really
of
cool,
thing, right? Because he gains people's respect like that. Like, he's already an imposing figure, but he gains people's respect with his knowledge. Like the taxi ride where the guy, he spoke the language. There's
that
all
was
sorts
pretty good.
Of like people underestimate him in a different way they underestimated the Tom Cruise character.
Right. The only other thing I will say is there were two moments, both of them with Roscoe, where she had outbursts that seemed very unnecessary and kind of awkward to the story. And you've seen both of them if you've gone as far as you have.
Yeah, I've only two
basically,
left.
Yeah, basically, when they get home and somebody had broken into her house and he says like, oh, are you scared or whatever? And like her outburst there was really kind of weird, and then it happened again later on in that same episode when they were like chasing the guy through the alley and he went one way and she goes the other way and she comes back and slaps him in the face and has that whole thing again. And it's like the big dog doesn't have to prove he's a big dog, you know what I mean? Like,
right, but she does.
It just kind of seemed,
but
it seemed over the top. Like as I watched that scene, I was like, well, okay, that's a choice, but I wouldn't have gone that way.
But see, now let me counter that because I liked it and I liked it for the reason that you just said. For the big dog doesn't have.
I know she's the little dog.
She's right. But that's her issue, and that's what like sets her off. It's like if you treat her as this, cute little blonde girl that, oh, okay, I'll do you're a little tiny thing. She hated that. Like she was angry somebody broke into her house, right? That set her off. But then she's also like, she got angry at him for being like, are you okay? Is this, it's like, yeah, I'm not that type of person. And then when she smacks him later and yells at him, I thought it was great. And it's like, it's setting her off like you don't, and that, I don't think that was the same episode. I think it was because it was after.
Might have been the next one. Yeah, it might have been the
it
next
was,
episode
it was after they had their hotel visit.
Right.
And she was like, and she smacked him good too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they actually let her smack him that hard or that was just some really good sound effects and he moved well, but she got him good and he came back up like after like his head got knocked down a little bit and he looked at her and she's like, this really makes me angry. Whatever she says, he goes, I see that. But the characters,
I don't know.
Like
I said, I liked it all, but I thought that was kind of like it just didn't ring true. Like it rang funny to me as I was watching it, but I'm not going to hold that against the show or anything. I liked all of it.
I haven't finished it yet. I've got 2 episodes left, but what I just realized maybe 2 episodes ago is that I think and you said this earlier where you thought the first episode was kind of corny. I think that is because we know him from Titans and we've known him from other things like that. So you still had that Hawk mentality in your head, but this character and the way he's playing the character is grown on me and I'm not saying he's doing it badly, but I only think of him as Reacher and I love it. I love how he's playing the character. I love how his acting here. And I kind of undersold him I thought they had like a lesser character, a lesser guy, a lesser actor to do the role.
I did too, because we didn't really know that much about him.
No, we didn't. But now I really feel like he's doing because this isn't his character as Hawk. He's, Hawk, he's very aloof and very like, kind of like Zendaya with, from Spider-Man. And then you see her in Euphoria and you're like, wow, that's two different characters. This isn't that extreme, but it's still a different character, and he's bringing a lot of intelligence to it, and the way he acts the roles out. There's also a hint of almost like he has not a learning disability, but he's like, you'd call it on the spectrum, like almost like I feel like he has like a little bit of autism, like he doesn't understand people's feelings because he's so smart with this stuff, and he's just like, not that he doesn't understand them, but that type of person that doesn't care. I don't care about your feelings. We got a job to do here, And I wanted to say, and I'm gonna loop these in together. His character and Peacemaker, his character, I think are very similar. Aside from they look almost identical.
Right.
John Cena is actually bigger, wider, but but I think that personalities like Peacemaker had a tough upbringing. Jack Reacher had a tough upbringing, right? Right. But they all have that, like, I'm going to get the job done in the name of peace kind of thing.
Right.
And I'm finding, going back and forth between those two shows, I'm finding these characters very interchangeable, which I think is really cool because it's bringing a level of reality to Peacemaker, which is like a crazy comic book show that has a pet eagle.
Right.
So what are you thinking of that so far? I'm one episode behind. Yeah. How you
again? I'm
loving it.
I'm caught up. So yeah, loving it. It's great. If you haven't seen the latest episode, things take a turn for the worse. So I'm not quite sure how they're going to get out of this one, but
they do.
They will. Yeah, because it's a show. They'll figure it out. But things have taken a dire turn for everybody.
Well, that one episode ended with one of the characters getting a butterfly reveal. And you're like, how are they getting out of this? And they actually go, I watched that back to back, but if I had to wait a week for that, I would have been like, what how do they get out of this? Like you said. And then when you see I thought that was some great writing right there. You're like, ooh, this is, and it changed the show's complete direction.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool. But yeah.
Yeah, super fun. Yeah, only like 2 left, I think, on that. So we're almost done.
Yeah.
But
did you finish Ozark?
We get season 2. Yeah, I did. We talked about that last week.
Oh, you did finish that. Yeah, we're still plugging on that. Jen and I are still plugging on that. Still plugging away on The Expanse. Took a little bit of a hit because I'm enjoying Reacher. I've got Reacher going. Right. For All Mankind season 2, still have 1 episode to go. I don't want to finish it. I don't want because I know when I'm done, I'm done. At least I know I have a season. I'm like, all right.
I have one in my pocket. So.
I got 1 to go. I'm saving it for a rainy day. I did see Man in the Arena.
Yeah. How much did you watch?
The first episode?
Just the first episode?
I didn't know it. Okay. It wasn't giving me another one.
It's 9 hours. It's 9 episodes.
Yeah, but it wasn't giving me it. All I got was the first episode, like 1 hour on my ESPN package.
Oh, what's on Hulu now?
It's on Hulu.
It moved to Hulu.
Oh, okay. Hulu. Let me check on because I watched it on ESPN and there was 1 episode.
Well, I did too, and I got all 9 of them there. But I think just last week it popped up on Hulu, so maybe it moved over. But Hulu and ESPN are all part of my package.
Oh, right. So am mine. But I watched mine on ESPN.
Well, I did too. Yeah, I did too. But
yeah, so I watched the first hour, I guess.
Okay.
Man in the Arena, and it was good, and it's just basically Super Bowl 1, the first one they won.
It is. That's the thing. Every season kind of every episode tackles. Obviously he had more than 9 seasons, so they start to bunch a few of them together.
Right. But at the time,
every Super Bowl gets its season.
Even the Tampa one.
So,
even the
no, because like I said, they don't.
So
they don't go into Tampa. Like the last episode is basically his last year at 2019. So they don't dive into Tampa at all, but it's his whole career with New England. I mean, if you've seen the first one, you know what you're in for. It's kind of the same all the way through, but but it's super enjoyable. Like I liked it a lot.
As a New England fan, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you not?
Just reliving a lot of that stuff. And again, I don't live up there, so I don't see all of the same stuff that you guys see.
Yeah.
You know, as far as, you know, a lot of that stuff on the radio and on the news and stuff. I don't follow all of that stuff, but
I was getting misty-eyed.
I just watched the games.
Watching episode 1 and reliving that first Super Bowl. And I was just like getting choked up because I'm thinking of like, they did a really good job of, it's almost like the entire episode wasn't even about Brady. It was just
no,
about
it's not. It was really more about Bledsoe and the Patriots, you know.
Yeah, and everything
and the situation, the story of the season. Yeah, and that's kind of how it is. Like obviously, he's a central character through the whole 9 episodes, but it focuses a lot on the team and, like I said, the seasons.
The Bledsoe stuff was amazing.
I really liked it.
I love when they'd say something like that happened, and then they go to the shot of Bledsoe, and he'd just be sitting there staring at the camera and go,
yeah. Even 20 years later, he's still got his head down, and he's still the sad puppy, you know.
Yeah,
but
and it's
gotta know that. I mean, how things change, you know.
Don't take anything for granted. Yeah.
Well, again, he plays that Super Bowl. If he starts that Super Bowl and wins, Brady never happens. You know what I mean? Like just the fact that Bill made that decision to play Tom instead of Drew, and and go back to the playoff game. Like if they don't reverse the call of the fumble, forward pass or whatever,
I know.
Again, Brady never happens. Like that whole career never happens.
I don't know if he never happens.
They don't win that Super Bowl. Right. So maybe Drew starts the next season, and things take a drastic turn.
Right.
Yeah. So you never know, but
yeah. I know.
And we said we told everybody we weren't going to talk about Tom Brady again, but we just did for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
but it's in real world. But Carl got his wish in 4K Dolby Vision with Dolby Atmos. Boom, everybody.
There you go.
There you go. Let's see. What else do we got? Plugging away on.
I'm not done. I still got a whole list
looking
of stuff,
at what I got. All right, I'm pretty much done. So, and we got the last two shows that we could talk about. But go ahead.
Okay. Well,
wrap it up there, John.
Well, I started watching Suspicion.
Okay.
Apple TV.
Okay.
It's got Uma Thurman and
love Uma.
Raj from Big Bang Theory.
Oh
no, Raj Koothrappali.
Yeah,
and it has
that's the easier name to say than his real name.
Yeah,
Raj Koothrappali.
Elizabeth Henstridge, who was Simmons on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
This is a pretty good show. So far, it dropped 2 episodes last week. Again, it's Apple TV, so you get all the good Atmos and Dolby Vision and all that stuff.
What's it about?
So there's a kidnapping that takes place in a hotel in New York. 4 people in masks. They're wearing the masks of the royal family, and they abduct the son of the Uma Thurman, who's like this giant media mogul. And that's how this show opens. And then you kind of fast forward to England, where all of these 4 characters are, you kind of get the stories of these 4 people who all get pulled in for suspicion of this kidnapping. And, you spend like 10 minutes or so with each one of them and have no idea why you're spending time with any of these characters. Like, why are we seeing this story and why are we seeing that story?
Yeah.
Until they all get pulled in and start getting questioned for suspicion of the kidnapping.
It's called Suspicion.
So far, really good. Yes, called Suspicion. Like I said, it should pop up on Apple TV Plus. It's like one of their big.
Yep.
And again, so far Apple TV is not disappointing.
I know.
It's been really good.
As soon as you said it's on Apple TV Plus, I was like, oh, okay, I got to check this out. And that sounds like it's something for the theater too.
Well, again, the sound is really good. Now, again, it's not like booms and crashes and car chases or anything. No. But it still sounds great.
Cool.
Okay. We watched The Last Duel. Which is the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Ridley Scott movie. So Ridley Scott cannot blame the box office performance of this movie on people watching things on their cell phones. this was not great. so, um, so the fact that this didn't do well in the theaters has nothing to do with millennials watching stuff on their phones. It was okay, but I'm glad I watched it on HBO Max and not in the theater.
Right.
It's like 2.5 hours long. You kind of relive 40 minutes of it 3 times because you see the story from 3 different people's perspectives. And so you kind of relive the whole beginning of the story 3 times, which sets up the duel. And then you get to the duel, and that's the end of the movie. So it was okay. Like, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Jodie Comer, who is from Killing Eve, bunch of people that you've seen before. Big budget Ridley Scott movie, but it was okay. It's worth a watch because it's at this point free with your subscription. But
yeah,
I wouldn't have gone to the theater to see it. All right, we watched The Righteous Gemstones, HBO Max.
Okay.
We watched all of season 1, and we're now caught up on season 2. This is actually season 2 is airing right now.
Snowed in this week or something?
I told you we took Saturday and Sunday off. So these are 30-minute episodes. So again, it went through all of season 1 in like 4 hours because it's 8 30-minute episodes. So this has got Danny McBride. It's got John Goodman. Walter Coggins, whatever. A lot of people. Super funny. It's actually Danny McBride wrote and created this, but it's a spoof on like the televangelists and like the big rich preachers, and they're a preacher family and they're filthy rich, but they're all despicable people, and it's pretty good though. This was recommended on Ralph's show a couple times last week. And it was kind of on my radar anyway of things to watch. So it's crazy, but it's funny and it's pretty good. So another one to add to the list. And then last but not least, we watched episode 1 of Pam and Tommy last night.
Oh, I was going to get to that one. Yep.
So yeah, they dropped 3. We've only seen the first one.
Okay.
So far so good. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, but I think, in episode 1, you really see a lot of Sebastian Stan. You don't see too much of Lily James, but he's spot on for Tommy Lee.
Jen and I he's good at acting like him. But he's all wrong physically. He's too jacked.
He's bigger. Yeah, he's bigger than Tommy Lee. But,
he feels like he needs to be thinner or taller. Like he needs to be stretched.
Right.
Like Tommy Lee was tall and lanky. Still is.
Right.
I say it like he's gone. Tommy Lee is tall and lanky and very just like a Gumby almost looking, right? Whereas Sebastian Stan, you could tell was, Winter Soldier. I mean, he's in great shape, and he thinned down as much as he could, but I don't think he wants to thin out like, say,
what's his name? Batman.
Yeah. Christian Bale.
When he did, he's not going to do that.
Now, you don't have to go full machinist, but you have to, he needs to lose some of the bulk that he put on to be Winter Soldier. But yeah, he is it. Wait, you think you saw a lot of him in episode 1? You see a lot more of him in episode 2.
Well, it's a prosthetic.
No,
it's a prosthetic.
I know that. I understand that.
Yeah, I know.
No, but I don't think you know what I'm talking about. And there's a scene that you're like, okay, this just went from comical to ridiculous. And it's like I'll talk after you see it. Give me a call because I don't think we can even talk about it here. It's hysterical, but it's just like I was like, I'm not paying that much attention. The two of us. I was looking at it because I know it's a prosthetic. I was looking at it from the artistic point of view. I'm looking for places of, where blends. I'm looking for certain things, right? And Jen's looking at other things, and I'll talk to you about it when you see the scene. But yeah, it's pretty funny.
I mean,
but
I
yeah,
don't know
you do
how
get to see
accurate-
more of her later, and a lot more of her later.
Yeah, and those are prosthetics too. So.
Right. I said that to you in the text. I don't know how accurate this is, but it's entertaining.
Yeah, it's entertaining. Like I said, I don't know how true it is, but I mean, the story is out there that they were, obviously they're rich as hell, but don't pay their bills and kind of screwed these guys over.
Oh yeah, they just took the guys for granted and were like, just.
But I don't, like I said, I don't know how accurate, like him stealing the safe and pretending to be a dog and all that stuff. But
right,
I didn't even recognize Seth Rogen for like 10 minutes.
Oh really?
I was like, oh my god, because he's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah,
and it just kind of he turned his
mullet.
head. Yeah, and it's like he turned his head one way all of a sudden. I was like, is that Seth Rogen?
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't recognize him at first, but
Jen was kind of like that too, I think. She didn't say she didn't
but-
recognize him, but she said exactly like you. She goes, is that Seth Rogen? I was like, yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, it's crazy.
We actually blasted
again-
through the 3 episodes because
Did you?
they're
Yeah.
fun. And then you're like, oh, I thought they were all there. We didn't know it was going to be weekly. So we're like, oh man, we're done.
Well, that's
So
how I
think
felt
what
with
does it drop,
Reacher. Like,
Wednesdays?
I thought we were only going to get like 2 episodes of Reacher, and then all of a sudden they kept going.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one didn't drop. Yeah, Thursdays I think is
Pam
the
and Tommy.
drop date. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll probably get the 4th episode, which again we'll watch maybe one tonight after we have dinner, and then we'll finish.
We'll
the
talk
other
about
one
it more
tomorrow.
next week
But,
when you're caught up because I think it's comical at times, but I like the overall story. And so far, after 3 episodes, I really like what they're doing, portrayal wise with the characters. So we'll talk about it more next week. So
cool.
And I guess the last thing is, season 3 of The Mandalorian. It's
I know,
awesome.
it's rocking.
It's
It's in full swing now.
This is embarrassing. To be honest with you, it is. It's like, I mean, the jokes are out there. I love you said you made that one that you sent me.
I made
today.
that meme. Yeah,
That is fantastic. We got to send that. Oh, you did send it to me. I'll put it out tomorrow on the tweet.
Okay.
But it's like, that is fantastic. It's basically, it's Jeff Goldblum. And it's like, the only thing you did is him knocking on the glass. You are going to have Boba Fett in the show, The Book of Boba Fett, aren't you?
Right.
It's like, it is embarrassing because it's one thing to go away from a main character of the show, the title character, for a minute or even an episode. But what's embarrassing,
it was 2 full episodes.
I don't care. You go 2, but nobody misses Boba Fett.
Well, right.
That's what's embarrassing, is that we joked about it last week. We're like, is Disney sitting there going like, this Boba Fett thing ain't working. Roll out the Mandalorian early and we'll just tie it in and we'll tell them this is what the story is or whatever. Because it really, I know that's not what they did. We made the joke. But how do you not feel that way when you're like, Boba Fett was like, okay, this is cool. Boba Fett, he's just plugging his way around the town and there's a little backstory here. And now it's all of a sudden the Mandalorian shows up and you're like, yes, this is what I wanted. And it's like,
well, the other thing that struck me as I was watching last week's episode, which also again featured a lot of the Mandalorian again, and one of the things I realized that bothers me about the Boba Fett show that is kind of exasperated by the Mandalorian is he never has his helmet on. Like, Boba Fett is always just Mr. Clean. Like, he's just running around with his bald head. He never has his helmet on. And then you get to Mando, who never takes his helmet off. And it's like, just keep that helmet on and be Boba Fett, I don't need to peek behind the curtain so much. And
but that's where they went wrong. Boba Fett was the mystique. It was the mystery. He takes the helmet off. There's no more mystique. There's no more mystery. And we don't even you haven't given us a compelling enough story to be like, we already knew everything. We knew he was a kid. We knew he was that. We knew him when he was a kid, I should say. We knew all of this stuff. We even got a little bit of him in, was it Clone Wars or Rebels or wherever he showed up as a kid?
It was Rebels.
We got that little bit of a story there. But now
maybe it was Clone Wars. I don't remember, but
but now you're getting sightings of really, we're going spoiler free. We'll leave it out, but it's all over the internet about.
I would say it was Luke and Grogu. I'll spoil it. I don't really.
No. I was talking about the other one. The other one. Yeah.
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane.
Again, the character posters are out there, so
right.
I'm sorry if you haven't seen it, but Cad Bane was awesome.
Yeah.
Looked a little different than the animated counterpart, but I think it was just.
But you knew who it was. It was.
You knew who it was, and that scene with him and Justified, Timothy Oliphant, was fantastic. I was
the
trying
entire
to think of his
scene.
character.
It was a
I was trying to think of his
great
character.
Western scene.
Cobb Vanth. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That was a great scene, and of course, all the Luke and Grogu stuff was fantastic. Much better job on Luke this time around than even the end of Mandalorian season 2. I thought the CGI was a lot better on this. And then I was reminded by one of my customers, that's because they hired the deepfake guy to work for Lucasfilm.
That's what I said to Joe while we were watching it. I was
actually made a difference.
Oh, yeah. I was like, he looked better than, and I recently just watched the scene with Leia at the end of.
Than she did, right?
It looked better. That his lips moved. You could still see. That's where there's a slight weakness right now in the CGI thing is when they talk. But it looked so good. Him walking along and him moving. Yoda,
that was awesome.
Baby Yoda,
now you know how
Grogu.
Now we know how you take a stroll with Grogu, right?
Right.
You have
exactly.
To force push him along. But I thought that was awesome. Kind of the reverse training, because in Empire you got Luke running around with Yoda on his back. And then now you got Luke jumping around with Grogu on his back.
Yeah.
That was really great. He had the whole you had the whole Frodo shirt thing going on. So,
the
his
thing,
his Mithril shirt, which I definitely want to see him sporting that shirt. Although you know what that means if he does, because the kind of the choice he was given. But
the thing with Cad Bane that I thought was interesting is that he's showing up here, which I think is great. But isn't there a Star Wars story? If maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but doesn't he get killed by Boba Fett? And
no, I don't know, because they have a weird relationship through the stories, because Cad Bane was trained by Django.
By Django, initially. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
but I
don't remember him. No, I don't think he gets killed. Because when would it have happened?
Well, that's the thing, is it hasn't technically happened yet, but is the
show
lore.
Would it have been in?
Well, it wouldn't have, but the lore, and there are videos, you can YouTube it, and maybe.
But is this fan theories, or is this?
No,
it's only lore if it's out there somewhere.
You can look it up and you can see it. It's supposed to be like, I think it was like an episode from Clone Wars that didn't make it, but Boba Fett killed him in a duel. And that's how Boba Fett got the dent in his helmet. That's a Cad Bane shot.
Right.
And so you know what I mean? But that's already out there, but he already has the dent. And here's Cad Bane. So obviously they're going to uncanonize that, or it's never been canon. But basically what you're saying is, like, all along, Cad Bane, I thought he would have shown up in a flashback or something, but Boba Fett's had that dent, and that dent supposedly came from a duel with Cad Bane. And they both shot each other, and Cad's went off his Boba Fett's helmet, dented it, and Cad Bane died. And you can look it up on YouTube. You can see the video. I've watched the video, and maybe I just remembered it wrong, and it wasn't Cad, but I thought for sure that's what it was. But
I don't know. I'll look it up, but I don't know that. I don't know.
But at the end of the day, it's Cad Bane still hasn't shown up in Book of Boba Fett. He showed up in Mandalorian season 3.
Right. Exactly.
Literally, it was the same set as Mandalorian season 3.
It was, but I really liked that they got the original voice actor for Cad. Because that brought
cool.
that. If you've seen the character, obviously, you recognize the voice right away. But he's a super cool character, anyways.
Yeah.
And having him here working for the Pikes makes sense. So
yeah, he is that legit bounty hunter. Like he doesn't care about he's not doing right or wrong. He could just as easily be on excuse me, he could just as easily be on the right side if they paid him enough.
It's just right, it's whoever
Right.
he's working for.
Because in the was it Clone Wars and stuff when he shows up, and it's like he was helping people. He was doing, he was a good guy sometimes, or not maybe a good guy, but he actually worked with them. So, or was that Rebels? I don't know. I get those two mixed up.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
I know in Bad Batch he was hunting Omega against Fennec. So again, there's history there with Fennec as well. So it'll be interesting to see if he pops up again in the finale and has any kind of run in with them.
That's what's weird. It's like we have that finale today, like you said, as we speak. And you're like, that's it. It's like we're done with the book of Boba Fett, and we feel like we didn't even start Boba.
No, we didn't. I feel like the story will bleed into Mandalorian as well. I just don't think we're done with it because there's too much still to do in 45 minutes. Yeah. So I think that the two shows become interchangeable at this point, and it will get picked up in Mando season 3.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I hope so. I hope we get a little bit of Boba Fett in Mando season 3.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't even know how I really mean that. Oh, all right. Is that it for this week?
I believe so.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, we talked about.
We
talked about Peacemaker. We talked about Boba Fett. So
yeah.
That's
all you got. You ain't got no more. All right.
That's it.
That is cool. All right, everybody. Keep the streak alive. You can tweet at us at brightside_chat or at Arkham Comics with an X to keep those questions, comments, weather reports, sports updates. Keep them all coming, and we'll talk about it here in our mailbag segment, which seems to be a big hit. We get 3 or 4 a week.
There you go.
Which is way more than we ever expected.
Smashing success.
It's like we went a couple of weeks there, still had them, and BJ was out, dancing. Right. I mean, how do you not?
Do you really want to taste it?
Come on, John. You danced earlier.
They've seen it twice today.
Here it is again. Oh, too much fun. Too much fun. All right, we'll get out of here. We'll, oh, hang on a second. Now I'm just messed up my sounding.
Uh-oh.
So, all right, no, we're good. We are good. All right, let's get out of here. Have a great week, everybody. We will be back next week with more Mando Season 3, more Peacemaker. I will have finished Reacher, probably finished Saga. Lots to talk about. Have some fun.
Good deal.
We'll see you next week.
All right, take care, everyone.
Hey, Fred.